bless you. We do greet you on today. I want to turn my air down here because I don't want anything to disrupt the audio as we look to stream. The next part in this series of messages that we've been considering in regards to the affliction that Joseph had to face in his life. We are at that point where his brothers come and they're in need of food. Jacob, their father, has sent them, and Joseph, their brother, unbeknownst to them, is still alive, still kicking, and the only one over him in the area where he's in charge is Pharaoh himself. Be that as it may, I don't want to tarry from the thought that I want to convey. We did it in our Bible study last night, but I didn't post anything for folk who would need to hear the truth of this word. Joseph faced a lot of difficult times in his journey up to where he is in chapter 42 of Genesis. We find very clearly that if one would examine Joseph's life carefully, it would be hard to find anything out of sorts with him. That's not saying that he was not a sinful man. There's no question about it. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, and that would not have excluded Joseph. But when you survey his life, you consider it, I tell you, as aforementioned, it would be difficult to find a lot about his failures. He seemed to be a man who walked with the Lord. Probably the best type that you can find in the Old Testament if you was to use somebody that resembled the person of Christ. But the affliction that he faced, it led to some unforgiveness that was not dealt with in his heart. And when his brother, sent by his father, comes to him for food, they have a legitimate reason for coming to him. The text indicates that Joseph recognized them, which means that the Spirit of the Lord led Moses to pen for a reader of that section that Joseph knew that it was his brother standing in front of him. Not only did he know who it was, but the Bible indicates to us in verse 9 that Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them. If you rehash that, you go back at least 11 years, 17 years old. He remembered the dreams that he had that indicated to him that his family was going to bow the knee to him. He remembered that their hatred, their envy, not being able to speak kind to him, he remembered those things. It says very clearly that Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them. There's a lot of details there. Well, of course, you got to go back to the original account to get all the details that are set forth there. But one needs to conclude that not only did Joseph know who was standing in front of him, because the text says that he recognized him, but is it possible that he was reliving how they treated him? I think so, because listen to what he says right after Moses outlines that he remembered his dreams. It says that he said to them, verse 9, Genesis 42, "You are spies. To see the nakedness of the land is why you've come." Now, that's not why his brothers was in front of him. His brothers traveled to Egypt because their father sent him to get food. And I want to pause right here because here is what I want to try to drive home in this next couple of minutes that I'll be on with you. If we don't understand why the affliction we're facing is upon us, we don't understand what God's doing through it, we miss where God's trying to direct us dealing with these afflictions that's in front of us. If we don't understand the intel on that, it can lead us to treat other people unfairly. Clearly right here, the words that come out of Joseph's mouth was led by what was in his heart. And you can't miss that he still has some art in his heart against his brothers. He remembered his dreams. He probably rehashed some things that he had to face along the way. Those light afflictions, which was but for a moment, he relived them. And instead of him extending forgiveness and saying, look, they have a legitimate reason for being here. I'm the one who prepared for 7 years to have food for people. I'm just going to feed them. He didn't do that. I asked this question. I want to close. I don't know how my streaming is doing. How are you faring under the affliction that is upon you right now? Are you giving into it? Is it pushing those buttons that are leading that old man to surface? And are you treating others unfairly because of what you're dealing with? Shouldn't we learn to be content in whatever state we're in? Maybe I'll come back and maybe there'll be a further thought from this. Been on for about 7.5 minutes. We don't like to hold people very long because we lose people's attention. Pray God spoke to you. Pray God encouraged you. Continue to fight the good fight of faith, my brother. Have a blessed day, and God bless you.